Hello, friends and family. Myself, Caitlin, and Heather, and our immediate families are honored that you've come to celebrate Pam's life today with us. I've planned this memorial, her celebration of life, a little different. I wanted to take her from her birth to her moments here in Tennessee, because, to be honest with you, even myself included, were at parts of her life. I wasn't there in the beginning, and a lot of y'all weren't there as well. Pretty much at every stage of her life, she had made friends, and that was, the best thing. I mean, she met so many people, and she was truly an amazing person. See, I'm breaking up here and I'm doing a video. But so that's what we have planned. We've had friends from Florida, family from Michigan here, Georgia, all over the states have come to break Pam's life. And I thought that this would be the best, and we're gonna make you laugh, we're gonna make you cry, I'm sure. But one thing that Pam and I, even before we knew she had cancer, we always talked about how we wanted to go, or, lay to rest, I should say. And her and I never liked funerals, never did. It was like a northern thing. And then when we moved to the South, especially in Florida, they were doing celebrations of life. And that's kind of how it was. But I'm gonna start it off with comedian Jim Brewer explaining funerals, just to get a couple of chuckles, and then you'll see.
Like, I don't want a funeral. To me, funeral is the end, and they're depressing. Who came up with funerals? What a way to, okay, here's how we're gonna do this. We put the coffin in the middle, and then the people closest to the deceased stands right next to it, as a reminder. And people come in and say, sucks to be you, for 2 hours. Okay, let's begin. Sucks to be you, sucks to be you, sucks to be you. The body looks great. Keep the line moving. Sucks to be you, sucks to be you. It really sucks to be you. Like, what kind of crazy?
I'm here in Waterford, Michigan, on Clinton Way Drive, just outside Pontiac, Michigan. This is where Pam was born. I'm right beside the house where Pam was raised and played in the yard, and she rode her bike in this street. So join me as I take you on a journey of life.
Born on October 15, 1967 at Pontiac General Hospital, Pam was the oldest of 3 siblings.
Every Sunday night during the winter was our favorite time growing up. We would have hot dogs and s'mores in the fireplace for dinner. Then we would watch The Wonderful World of Disney movie as a family. While I was looking through pictures, I noticed that there were no pictures of Pam outside in the winter. Her aversion to the snow must have started when she was very young.
In the early days, the family raised chickens for meat, though Pam would never help catch them to take them to the butcher. Who knew the, quote, chicken mom she would grow up to become? The Japanese maple tree in the front yard of the house in Waterford seemed to be where Pam and Terry always got in trouble for climbing. Pam attended Cooley Elementary in Waterford from 1972 to 1978. Terry recalls that the walk to school was very long. The family moved to Columbiaville in the summer of 1978, where Pam attended Mayfield Elementary for the 6th grade. One of Pam's favorite pastimes was to sit on a huge rock in the front yard and read. Her favorite books were the Little House on the Prairie series and Nancy Drew. As she grew older, you could always find her outside getting a suntan. Terry recounts the mile it took for the sisters to walk to the bus stop and the opportunity it gave them to talk and goof around. Pam attended E.T. White Junior High from 1979 to 1981. Pam always kept an eye on her siblings when Mom and Dad would drop everyone off at the roller rink every week. In high school, that changed to going to the movies. Pam attended Lapeer East High School from 1981 to 1985. Animals were always a part of the family, but on her 16th birthday, she received her first dog, a collie, named Tiffany. Pam was involved in 4-H, showing rabbits, dog obedience, and various crafts, until she discovered boys. Pam's first car was given to her by great-grandma Donahue. It was a Gran Torino in an awful green color. But she loved that car and made up any excuse to go to town just so she could drive it. In November of '91, she graduated Ferris State University with a Bachelor of Science.
I only remember getting into one huge fight when we were growing up. It started with a fist fight, ended up being more of a slap fest. Brian tried to break us apart, which was pretty funny in itself, because either one of us could have taken him. The fight only lasted for a couple minutes before we were laughing so hard we couldn't stop. We could never stay mad at each other.
Pam and I met in the early 90s. We were both in college at different universities, but happened to be dating brothers in Michigan. Pam was so easygoing, kind, and funny that we instantly became the best of friends. Our birthdays were only 3 days apart, and we loved celebrating them together. After we graduated college, Pam, my boyfriend, and I all moved to Florida while her boyfriend was finishing up college. We all wanted to live somewhere warm after growing up in Michigan, so we decided that southeastern coast of Florida, just outside of West Palm, in a tiny town called Juno Beach, would be perfect. Pam and I spent every Saturday and Sunday all day at the beach. In the evenings, we'd go to the dog track or country line dancing. There really wasn't anything we didn't enjoy doing together. After a year or so passed, Pam was the smart one and broke up with her boyfriend and moved closer to her job at Holy Cross Hospital in Fort Lauderdale. There, she would later meet the perfect husband.
Pam and I always reminisce on our first date. To this day, Pam could tell you what I wore out for dinner that night. She actually told me she was really nervous on our first date. She would call her mom for advice on what to wear and kind of what to do. One of the TV shows that Pam and I loved to watch was Everybody Loves Raymond. She always said that TV show reminded her of our family. One episode in particular was on how they met. Pam and I always joked on who picked who up.
So, hey, Allie asked that boy to come over. It's a little forward there, don't you think?
Oh, please. Women waited for men to ask. The entire species would die out.
What are you talking about? We wouldn't have gotten together if it wasn't for me.
You?
Yeah.
We got together in spite of you.
Get out of here. It was all me, okay? I came, I saw, I conquered, baby.
You know, as much as I would like to blame you, us getting together is my fault.
That's not the way I remember it.
That's exactly how it happened.
No.
Yes?
No.
What?
Don't you remember?
June 1995, I was here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, working at Holy Cross Hospital for a construction company. Pam was working for Holy Cross as assistant director to medical records, and this is where we met. So I actually got into the medical records where I first met Pam. She needed something done in her office. I can't remember exactly what, but I remember I had my tool belt and my goofy hard hat on. And I walked into the office and I asked her what she needed. So as I was walking, there was something here that needed to be done. And she caught my eye, and we were just talking and asking what she needed done. And I was walking and my belt got hooked on her computer stuff, and I tore her monitors off her desk. And that was kind of the first interaction I had with Pam. So we're gonna take you now and show you where I X'd her out. All right, so we're in the basement where I was doing work and Pam was coming down for the medical records. From what I understand too, she never really needed to come down. It was just to kind of meet me. But all the time that we were walking, when she would walk down here, we'd just do small talk. So one time she was came in and she was all sunburned. And I go, oh, you went out this weekend? She goes, yeah, I went on the airboat. And I was like, oh. I said, oh, did you go with your husband? And I don't have no husband. So then I knew, because then he even said, well, then is your boyfriend? No, I don't have a boyfriend either. So then I knew she was free game. So about a day or so later, I had the guts up to talk to her. And as she was walking out of her office, or the medical records storage, I walked here and we were just talking. And it was kind of somewhere over here. I had the courage then to ask her out on our first date. And that was June 17th, 1995. So this is Denise. Denise worked with Pam back in 1995. And I was blessed enough that Denise still worked here and got us into all these areas. So thank you, Denise.
You're welcome.
I picked Pam up from her apartment that evening, and we were heading out for dinner.
Before this was a preschool, this was a fine Italian restaurant where my friend Phil worked. I took Pam here for our first dinner, and from then on, it was history. So after our dinner at the Italian restaurant, we came here to the Bermuda Triangle, where we really didn't dance, but we had a drink or two, talk. And then as we left the Bermuda Triangle, we walked out here to pretty much where the car was, in the same spot here. And I opened up the door for Pam. And kind of, I don't know if I slipped. I don't know how it happened. I think I slipped into her lips, but this is pretty much where we first kissed, right here, like here when I was letting her in the car.
I would talk to my friend Jack back up in New York about Pam. Jack asked me one day, what is she like and who does she look like? I said, she's super smart. And I said, she looks like Jill from Tool Time. That was another show that Pam and I loved to watch.
It's my soulmate?
Yes, I do. He can talk about stuff I don't know about. He's taking your mind and leaving me with your body.
Back the soul train up here. You're more interested in my mind than my body.
Hey, no one's more surprised than me.
Did you get me yawning? Did you?
No.
Oh.
Where are we going?
What's up? New York. First time. Real exciting.
World Trade Center.
While Pam and I were dating in Florida, I was so excited to take her to New York City, to see the city and also to see my buddies, as well as where I grew up.
Now you know. Told you so. Now you know. Now you know.
I remember going to an arcade called Dave & Buster's with our friends Ken and Katrina. And there was this photo booth where it would take a picture of you and your spouse. It would show what your kid would look like. Well, after some of these photos, oof. It was a good thing I thought Pam was attractive still, because these kids were brutal.
March 22nd, 1997, I proposed to Pam in Lighthouse Point at this park. Prior to that proposal, 2 weeks prior, we had got into a little argument in the car, and I'll never forget it. And it kind of went like this.
On you already, but we agreed to get married as soon as you won your first case. Meanwhile, 10 years later, my niece, the daughter of my sister, is getting married. My biological clock is ticking like this, and the way this case is going, I ain't never getting married.
Little did Pam know that it was going to take 2,000 candles, a helicopter, her friends as well as mine, to help set this up. Here's how it went. We'll be flying right over there, right above that church. Hey, Todd. We're in a helicopter.
I think we should be taking too many flash pictures with them flying.
No, that's not a good idea. What are you doing, Cam?
Hey, can we take flash pictures?
Yeah, you can do anything you
That's
want.
okay? Right.
Just let me know I killed mine.
That's the helicopter we were just on. There's the sucker.
You know, when you think about it, there are only a few important questions in any relationship. What's your name? Can I have your phone number? Are you married? And will you marry me? Now, a lot of guys, they overproduce the last question. Now, here's a simple way. If you've got a few hundred lunch bags, some old birthday candles, and a spare helicopter lying around. This is the only proposal that can also be seen from space.
May 23rd, 1998, Pam and I were married in this church, St. Stephen's Lutheran Church. Our 2 daughters were also baptized here. This is where it was.
And this time to the new Mr. and Mrs. Michael Ajakie. Okay, keep them waiting. Sing along, keep them waiting.
Being that Pam and I both lived in Florida in this tropical climate, planning a honeymoon in the islands wasn't our thing, so we decided to go out west. And we hit Vegas, Colorado, and Utah. We both had a great time. After getting married, Pam and I were enjoying our newlywed life. We would go out wherever we wanted, visited whoever we wanted, just did things as a newlywed couple. Then our friend Kenny gave us a German Shepherd, and Pam and I took him in. We named him Durango. But once having a dog, you realize your newlywed life isn't quite free as much as it once was. Wake up in the morning, gotta walk the dog, gotta feed the dog. Come home from work, you gotta walk the dog, you gotta feed the dog. Then you had to take him to the grandparents' house, and he was the grand dog. Because then Pam and I would go away for a weekend or so, and someone had to watch the dog. But all in all, we did love Durango. He was a great dog. And it also prepared, well, at least me, for parenting.
I met Pam nearly 30 years ago, and even though we lived many miles apart over all those years, we shared a special bond. In the early days, our friendship was forged through a mutual love of shopping. Visits always included a shopping trip with extended time spent in Yankee Candle, topped off by sharing a tremendous chocolate-covered caramel apple or a Dairy Queen cotton candy blizzard. Those sweet items eventually turned into wine or cocktails after we had children. We went through our clubbing days, even though neither of us were really the clubbing type, getting trapped in the black hole that was the firehouse, weddings, firehouse dinners, outings in New York City, a swing out to the Yankee Candle Factory in Massachusetts, bridal showers, baby showers, christenings, fall festivals, countless Disney trips, Sanibel Island, Key West, Dollywood, Nashville. She made breakfasts fit for a king, and there was always plenty of bacon. Her charcuterie boards were works of art, and she made it all look so effortless. Everyone was made to feel truly welcome. We were kindred spirits in so many ways. We would start discussing Christmas gifts immediately after Halloween and celebrated when we had checked our kids off each other's lists. Pam was not only whip smart, but also wise beyond her years for as long as I knew her. How was it that she knew so much? She was always there for me, and I mean always. Whatever problem I threw her way, she always knew just what to say to make me feel better, but also to guide me in making the right decision. On those occasions where there was no right decision to be made, she offered comfort by just listening and praying for me. Just hearing her voice would immediately make me feel better. Her measured calm never failed to bring me peace. She made me believe that everything was going to be okay. She was a once-in-a-lifetime friend, and I feel her loss deeply every single day. This is one of the most difficult things I've ever done. I don't know if it's because it forced me to face the fact that this is a final goodbye to my sweet, smart, beautiful, kind, and amazing friend, or because I felt so much pressure to convey what a truly special person Pam was and not to fail her in this task. I struggle to come up with just the right words and to put them together in the perfect order. In the end, I don't think that any words I come up with can adequately convey that, and trust me, I tried really hard to find those words. But I think the fact that all of you are here to celebrate our Pam is a testament to how special she was. I love you, my friend. May you rest in eternal peace.
So after our wedding, we started looking for our first home, and we ended up here at 470 Southeast 17th Avenue.
After purchasing our first home, I quit the construction company I was working for and started Ajakie Construction. This was a dream of mine, and Pam was behind me 100%. She had to continue working for the hospital in order to support myself, her, and the bills that were coming in. While we were both working, we also were remodeling our home on nights and weekends. Pam had no problem slapping on a tool belt and getting in the dirt. And she had no problem learning the tricks of the trade. During our remodel, we met a couple of our neighbors on our street. We were friendly with everyone until we all started having kids. Before you know it, you all become lifelong friends.
How do I even begin to tell you about my sweet Pammy, how much she means to me and how much I love her? In 1997, my fiance and now husband Kenny and Michael met each other while they were both working at Holy Cross Hospital. They really hit it off, and Kenny came home to tell me he was really looking forward to all of us meeting each other and going out to dinner. About a week later, we did just that, and we had a wonderful time with our new friends. At this time, Kenny and I were planning our wedding that had been in the making for about a year. I had just finally finished the seating arrangement, which, as anyone that has ever planned a wedding knows, is no easy feat. With only 2 weeks left before the wedding, Kenny came to me and expressed that he really wanted to invite Mike and Pam, to which I replied, "Wait, what?" The invitations had gone out months earlier. We had already turned in the final head count number to the caterer, and besides the fact that, other than us, they weren't going to know anyone there. Kenny said that none of that mattered. He wanted me to try to squeeze them in somewhere, which is what I did. I set them at the infamous table 15, the table where nobody knows anyone. In the end, we were so very happy that they could attend and share in our special day. How could I have known then that this couple would end up becoming our very best friends, and that in less than a year, we were among the special group of friends that Michael would entrust to help set up his marriage proposal to Pam on the ground in candles. Pam would read that question from the sky and say yes. We were so happy for them and blessed that we could be a part of it. How could I have known then that this wonderful woman, Pam, would become so very important to me, that we would be at each other's sides, sharing so many tears and ups and downs as we battled our infertility fight together for years? We were beyond blessed, as she would become pregnant just 1 month after me, and that our beautiful firstborn daughters would be born just 28 days apart. At this point, Pam and I were both stay-at-home moms and shared many, many days on the go with our sweet baby girls, and eventually all of our 5 children together. How could I have known then that I would fall to love this woman Pam so much that we would choose her to be the godmother and Michael to be the godfather of our 3 children? Pammy was such an amazing daughter, wife, friend, and mother to so many of us. I will miss her kindness, her love, and her constant support. I will miss her smile and all the laughter that we shared together. Pammy always laughed at all my jokes. Pammy had a huge heart, and her passing has left a huge hole in all of our hearts. I know she is in heaven now, looking down and watching over all of us. How could I have known then that this beautiful woman that I squeezed in at table 15 would become one of the most important people in my life? I miss her beyond what words can describe. Until we meet again, my sweet friend, I love you.
Pam had too much eggnog this year.
Heaven gained another angel. To my mom, my best friend. You are a fighter and the strongest woman I know, and I hope to be more like you as I get older. There aren't words to tell you how much you mean to me, but thank you for being the best mom anyone could have ever wanted. You were always there for me, from spending long days at dance competitions to being there for me when I was down. Dad, cover your ears. To secret shopping trips when my dad went out of town. My favorite memories are from the long drives to and from dance. That's when I'd spill all my secrets and look for your advice. Those rides have gotten me into trouble a few times. You once wrote to me a letter, and it reads, "You have been the constant in my life. We've cried together, laughed together, experienced life together. Every morning I woke up and you were there. Every evening I went to bed and you were there. Today marks the day you end an era and begin a new one. One where not only you but me have to learn a different normal. I'm not sure what I will do without you here, and I feel I still had a lot to learn from you, but I know you will always be watching over me. Without you, I wouldn't be the person I am today. You inspired so many and were a light to this world. You were so loved. Thank you, Mom, for everything." I want to share this verse that comforts me. Isaiah 57, 1-2. Good people pass away. The godly often die before their time, but no one seems to care or wonder why. No one seems to understand that God is protecting them from the evil to come, for those who follow godly paths will rest in peace when they die.
Is that Miss Pamela? Pregnant Pam?
Mom, I am so lucky to have been able to call you my mom, even though I was an accident.
Just gotta stop eating those Twinkies.
But in all seriousness, I am so lucky to have had you as a mom. You lit up every room you walked into. You always were able to find the positive in every single situation. Me and Dad would always make fun of it, but it was truly something I admired you for. You have sacrificed so much for me, I will truly never get to thank you as much as you deserve. You are such a patient person. I don't know how you were able to be so patient at times with me and Dad. You have done so much for me, I can never thank you enough. You had the sweetest heart. It's hard to know that I will never see you sitting in the stands again, but I know deep down inside you will be my loudest cheerleader in heaven, not just in hockey but in every aspect of my life. You have taught me so much throughout the years, but I still had so much to learn from you. Mom, I love you so much and miss you every single day. You are the most amazing person. There is so much more I could talk about, but if I did, this video would never end. I will love you forever, Mom, and make you proud every single day. Heaven gained a good one. Now that the sad stuff is over, I want to share some memories of Mom that I love. I will never forget the day in Florida when you and Barb may have had a little too much to drink and decided it would be a smart idea to do cartwheels in the front lawn. I will miss the dinners where you would sit in your chair shaking your head in disapproval at my jokes I told, but you let out a couple laughs so I knew you didn't disapprove that much. I was always thankful you were there to break up the bickering between me and my older brother. Sorry, I mean father. I knew I always had you fighting in my corner against him. Dad, you need to close your ears for this one. Mom had a Starbucks addiction that Dad did not approve of, but thank God she had two amazing daughters to smuggle in her Starbucks behind Dad's back and throw away the evidence. Before I end this, I have a little Bible verse I would like to read. It's Psalms 48:14.
For this God is our God, forever and ever. He will be our guide even to the end.
Life is short. Spend it with the people who make you laugh and feel loved. This is why, when you find those people, you hold on tight. Pam was one of those people for me. We met over 20 years ago, and in that time developed a true bond as the years went by. Raising our children together in an amazing neighborhood allowed us to create our story. We celebrated birthdays, 4th of July street parties, Thanksgivings, and even Christmas Eve dinners. Blessed is what we were. Our daughters also became the best of friends. Countless hours spent at dance competitions gave us weekend lunches and our Wednesday night dinners out together during finale training. Let us not forget our family's yearly vacations and getaways, filled with adventures and laughter. When the time came and Tennessee was calling for their next chapter, our book did not come to an end. We never let the long road between us impact what we had created. The miles between didn't separate us. In fact, it only made us stronger. What qualifies someone as a best friend? That's easy. Someone you can trust with your life and who has seen the best and worst of you and will be there whenever you need somebody to talk to. There has to be a balance in the relationship between give and take. They are a constant in your life who reach out to you regularly and don't hold anything back. They are honest with you even when it hurts. They love you for who you are, not who they want you to be. They are kind and respectful. They stick with you through thick and thin. They don't judge you and accept your individuality. They appreciate you. That was the kind of friendship I had with Pam. Our friendship taught me that no matter how serious your life requires you to be, you still needed a good friend to be goofy with or hit up your favorite thrift store. Getting our must-have Chick-fil-A frosted lemonade was a must. Sometimes all we needed was a hand to hold and a heart to understand. Every morning we get to choose how to live our day. It's the power of choice. If you get up in the morning expecting to have a bad day, you'll rarely disappoint yourself. We can decide to be a duck and complain, or an eagle and soar above the crowd. Pam most definitely chose to be an eagle, to live with a positive outcome and a foreseeable future. Love, not time, heals all wounds. Although we couldn't cure Pam's cancer, all that loved her was the best medicine she could have received. For every life ends the same way. It is only in the details of how one lives and how they died that distinguishes one from another. And Pam lived hers with love and courage. Pam, your light shines so bright. You not only wanted to live, you wanted others to as well. You so generously offered your cancer up to research so that others had the chance to win the fight. We pray there will be a day that people will survive and make it through. Then the world will remember all the people just like you. For now, the pain is ours. We were robbed of our future plans, to the memories that no one can take away. When I think of you, I picture heaven, a beautiful angel, and the brightest shining star. Your legacy will live proudly through Caitlin and Heather, and your love will remain in my heart for all the days to come. Rest peacefully now, my dear sweet friend.
After living in Florida for about 23 years, Pam and I were ready for a new adventure. That adventure was going to take us to Tennessee. We were both looking for the change of season again, but we didn't want to go back up north where we were from originally. We found the happy medium of Tennessee. We found our dream property for our dream home. So I rented one large Penske truck to move our little house. But Pam had so much Christmas stuff that I had to rent another cube truck just to take her Christmas stuff. I'm sure most of you know how much Pam loved Christmas. We rented a house in Franklin, Tennessee, while I continued to build the house and Pam was helping raise the girls. And like usual, we met a lot of amazing people and made some amazing friends. Once the house was complete, Pam absolutely loved decorating for the holidays, and it didn't matter what holiday it was. But when it came to Christmas, boy, I felt like I was living in a Hallmark Channel set.
I first met Pam in the summer of 2010. Norman and I had just opened Butterfly Meadows Inn and Farm in Franklin, Tennessee. And Pam, Michael, and the girls were some of our first guests that summer. And they became regular guests every year until they made their move to Tennessee. Our business tagline was always, "Come as friends and leave as family." And this was true of none of our guests more than the entire Ajakie family. From that first visit, they just naturally were a part of the family. Pam was one of those rare women who are beautiful on the inside and out. She was funny and smart, and she never mixed up in any drama. She was the kind of friend who had your back, the kind of friend you wanted to walk by your side. Sometimes bonds of friendship are strengthened in hard times, and Pam and I both received cancer diagnosis in 2022. I was privileged that she was able to walk that road with me. It doesn't really matter what flavor of that disease you're handed, it's going to be a challenge. And it's something that requires you to get your warrior mindset on and enter a battle that's not of your choosing. Pam was a valiant warrior, and she handled her illness and treatment with grace and courage. She remained positive and focused on others throughout. What was important to Pam in her final days was what was important to Pam during her lifetime. And that is this: Pam loved her people. Michael, Caitlin, Heather, her birth family, her family by marriage, and all of the friends that were blessed to be loved by her as part of her world. Love never ends. Pam, thank you for sharing yours.
I met Pam about 8 years ago. Girls hockey brought us together. We met at the rink. Of course, I liked her immediately. She was friendly and comfortable to talk with over the years. We traveled on hockey trips. We celebrated our girls in hockey at many rinks as well as team get-togethers. We celebrated birthdays and holidays together. I remember when she turned 50, she was at the rink for one of the either junior or Nashville girls hockey practices. Michael was out of town. He had put one of those big birthday signs in their front yard. She told me it was her birthday, the big 50. I immediately said, we are going to brunch for mimosas to celebrate at Biscuit Love while the girls were practicing. We waited in line for like 30 minutes to get in. We had a good time and we were back just in time to pick up the girls. Pam and I have done lunches over the years to catch up with each other's families. Pam was so proud of her girls. She loved watching Caitlin when she was in dance and Heather on the ice. I miss my friend Pam. She is forever in my heart.
Oh, our sweet Pammy, how I think of her and miss her every single day. I am so thankful that we walked into the GDA lobby at the same time. Our love for fitness struck up our first conversation. We both had Orange Theory key tags, and we made plans to work out together. The rest is history. Although we are very much opposite, we had so much in common. We had both moved from Florida to Tennessee around the same time. Our husbands were in the same line of work. Our girls danced together. We were both stay-at-home moms, and we both loved the mall. How could we not become besties? Lunch dates. Even when COVID hit, we had weekly FaceTime lunches. We both loved supporting each other's kiddos and all the things they did. She even dabbled in all of my crazy ideas, from delivering Instacart orders to workout contests. Anything I came up with, she was down to do it. We will forever think about how unfair this is that you were taken from us. Such a great soul. We now have the best angel looking down on us. I miss her fighting spirit and love for life. She was truly the bestest friend, mother, and wife anyone could have. I will cherish my sweet friend and carry her strength with me.
As many of you may know, entering into a close-knit family can be intimidating. There is a precious bond that, for me, I so wanted to be a part of. Pam was that person that understood my insecurity, that wasn't born into the family, but accepted. And she wasn't just a sister-in-law to me. She was the big sister I always wanted. She was patient, encouraging, and always full of knowledge. She inspired me as a mom and as a wife. There are lots of things, looking back, I wish I had said or that I had done. I will have to live with the would've, could'ves, and should'ves, as the Lord had a plan that we didn't understand. But I know that someday when my time comes and I get to join Pam in heaven, we're going to sit down and have a couple of chai tea lattes and look back upon the Lord's completed plan, and it's all going to make sense. Until that day comes, I will do my best, Pam, to be the blessing as you were to all of us.
Michael asked me if I wanted to say something for your video. I was like, of course I do. When I sat down to write the words, they wouldn't come because there's still so much I want to tell you. As I watched you go through your battle with cancer, I don't think many people knew how strong you were. I have always known you had a quiet strength that others didn't see. It was covered by your kindness, generosity, and the deep love you had for others. You always welcomed everyone into your home and treated them like family. I see all these qualities in your girls. You and Michael have raised them to be loving, strong, independent young ladies. Except I don't know who Caitlin is texting to find out what to have for lunch every day. Everyone believes that Heather gets her independence from Michael, but we know better. We will keep that between us. I read a poem that said some people will always hold a special place in your heart. You are that person for so many. The next lines are, you will always love them, and they teach you so much. I was thinking back on what you taught me. You taught me how to shave my legs, put on makeup, talk to boys, and most importantly, how much hairspray to use to get the perfect 80s and early 90s hairstyle. I am so glad Caitlin and Heather have each other. There's nothing more special than the bond between sisters. They will need each other to lean on, share their heartache and happiness, and most importantly, their secrets. You can't trust brothers to keep them. You were the first one I would call when I had news, either good or bad. I can't even begin to tell you how much my heart aches that I don't get to hear your voice anymore. I will never be able to watch Everybody Loves Raymond or hear Wilma Flintstone's laugh without thinking of you. God, how much I missed your laugh.
I remember one time, this was a very long time ago when I was staying at my sister's in Fort Lauderdale. I came home to find her in tears and I, like any good brother, asked her what was wrong. "I'm almost 30 years old," she said. "What if Mike doesn't ask me to marry him? I've only got a few years left to have children." I'm not sure what she expected her then 25-year-old brother to contribute to a conversation about her eggs being too old. I have no idea. I don't remember what I said to her, but I surely nodded my head, cracked a joke, and muttered something seemingly comforting before asking her about dinner. It wasn't until much later, in fact, that I finally understood. Just a few months ago, my sister was lying on her deathbed, and I had been crying my eyes out. I was just sitting down to a plate of scrambled eggs. Eggs that had come from the chickens in the coop in her backyard, and I got to thinking. Looking at those eggs on my plate, I finally understood. My tears stopped being tears of sorrow, but became tears of joy. Those eggs had come from my sister's chickens. Those eggs were my sister's dream. Well, not those eggs exactly, but they were a part of it. My sister had always dreamt of having a home and a family. My sister had always dreamt of having just what she had. How could I be sad when my sister had lived her dream? Many of us never get the chance to live our dreams, and she did. Her dream was cut short, but she lived that dream for 26 years. And what a beautiful dream that was. Pamela, Renee, Weaver, Ajakie, my sister, and the heart of the family. I want to thank Michael for making my sister's dream come true, but more importantly, I want to thank him for loving her and showing her every bit of tenderness right up to her very last breath. Caitlin and Heather, you too were my sister's dream. 2 daughters to be proud of. 2 daughters able to live their own dreams because my sister had showed them how. I also want to thank everyone who is here today. We were my sister's life, and in some small way, a part of that dream.
From when Pam and I started dating till recently, I wasn't really one to celebrate Valentine's Day. I considered it the Hallmark holiday. I didn't need one day to show my love and overpay for flowers. Her friends would give me crap for it, but I always would just give her flowers or a card on a random day to make up for it because I thought it meant more just coming out of a normal time. But Pam would give me a card. And one card she gave me in particular was one she handwritten that I have. As you can see, it's up on the screen. I was able to recreate her voice on an AI software, and I'm going to have her read it. So grab a couple of tissues because this is pretty amazing.
Michael, thank you so much for becoming part of my life. When I am with you, I feel like there is nothing we cannot do. I'm glad that you and I can share our dreams and goals for the future with each other. I will always be there for you to love and support you in everything. maybe almost everything, that you want to do. Just wanted you to know that I thank God every day for giving me you to love. I love you with my whole heart. Pam.
Red lights flash in the dark, 3 a.m. staying up. This isn't what I imagined. Flowers on the bedside, questions in my head like, tell me how this could have happened. It hasn't been long, still feel your head on my shoulder. I guess I always thought that we had time to get older. I wasn't ready for you to leave. The last thing that you ever said to me is, I know that you're hurting, it's gonna be okay. All that I could promise you is time will numb the pain. And darling, don't you worry, believe me, you'll be fine. All I know is I was lucky you were mine. Long nights like I've never known, a cold bed in an empty home. Tell me how to do this without you. Staring at your photograph, wishing you were staring back. God, I want my arms around you. I know it hasn't been long, still feel your head on my shoulder. I guess I always thought that we had time to get older. I wasn't ready for you to leave. The last thing that you ever said to me is, I know that you're hurting, it's gonna be okay. All that I can promise you is time will numb the pain. And darling, don't you worry, believe me, you'll be fine. All I know is I was lucky you were mine. All I know is, all I know is, all I know is I was lucky you were mine. All I know is, all I know is, all I know is I was lucky you were mine. Oh, time won't take these memories. Oh, just close your eyes, you'll be next to me. I know that you're hurting, it's gonna be okay. All that I can promise you is time will numb the pain. And darling, don't you worry, believe me, you'll be fine. All I know is I was lucky you were mine. All I know is, all I know is, all I know is I was lucky you were mine. All I know is, all I know is, all I know is I was lucky you were mine. All I know is, all I know is, all I know is I was lucky you were mine.
I always looked up to how my mom and dad worked together on their construction company. I also have that dream of owning my own business. I've been working at a coffee shop and really enjoy this type of business, so in the future I hope to open my own coffee shop named the Rustic Rooster Coffee and Cafe. Now, if you knew my mom, you knew her Starbucks order. And to memorialize my mom, I plan to name her favorite drink after her, Pam's chai tea, and for the Christmas season, Pam's gingerbread chai tea.
From a young age, Mom wanted me to follow Caitlin's footsteps in pursuing dance. We all learned in those couple of years, dance was in fact not for me. I was never a very graceful person. I always remember going to the Glacier ice rink and skating around with Dad and Caitlin while Mom sat and watched. After every free skate, I would sit there and beg Mom and Dad to let me watch the hockey players. Mom was not budging when we tried to talk her into letting me play. After all, it was just to be quote-unquote cheaper. After a while of our begging, she finally broke. The day I stepped on the ice with hockey skates, I knew I wanted to play this sport for the rest of my life. Mom was probably regretting that decision because all she heard at the dinner table for 10 years was talk about hockey. But she knew how much I loved that sport. She will not be able to watch any more of my games physically, but she will 100% be watching from above. She got to watch me live out my dream of committing D1 to a Assumption University. Every time I put on my jersey, I will be reminded of her. I have decided to wear number 67 to memorialize her. Number 67 is important to me because it was the year she was born.
July 2022, I tore my rotator cuff. And while I was getting prepped for surgery, Pam was by my bedside and she started to cry. And I was like, Pam, why are you crying, honey? It's not a big deal, honey. We got this. I think why she was crying is it was the first time she's seen me vulnerable, that her man couldn't fix it. And that was like the first time I seen her worry. Well, that following month of August 2022, Pam was diagnosed with liver cancer, which rocked our family. One thing that I dreaded doing, well, there was many, but this was the one thing, was removing her wedding ring. That wedding ring, this wedding ring, meant everything to her. It wasn't because it was gold, and it wasn't because it had a nice diamond on it. It's because what it meant to her, towards me. I go back to when she was crying when I was laying down before my operation. That's how much I knew she loved me, because she was worried about me. You know, when you're up on the altar and the priest is uttering the words, for better or worse, in sickness and health, death do we part. You don't think about that at that time because you're young and you think you have your whole life together. But in this situation, you don't realize how true that vow is and how important it means. So when she transitioned, I took her hand and I took her wedding ring off, and as I was taking it off, I ordered, Pam, we were married 26 years. I wish it was another 26. As I remove your ring, I will continue to wear mine in remembrance of you until this pain wears off. I love you. And that's how it ended. Once Pam was no longer with us physically, she's with us spiritually. I gotta say, my belief in God, my belief in heaven, and my belief in the afterlife has never been stronger now. And I say that because of what has been happening in my home. I'm not a shoddy contractor. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. And I don't think of coincidences. But what has been going on in my home, our home, is nothing but Pam sending signals. And let me explain. That Tuesday night, after Katrina was the last one to leave, I was sleeping in my bed. Heather's bedroom is right above mine, and Caitlin's is on the other side. About 12 o'clock midnight, I was kind of just trying to doze off, but wasn't really. And I heard a crash. So I got up at bed and I started walking to the door, and I heard Heather get up and start walking. So I assumed, oh, she must have dropped something. So then I just shut my door and went back to bed. Well, the following morning, I got up and Heather goes, Dad, did you see what happened? I said, no, what happened? She goes, the memories sign fell off the wall. I said, what? So she goes, come on, let me show you. So I go. So this wall, I did this about 3 years ago, Pam and I. And it was love, memories was over Heather, and in family. So as I walk down the stairs, or I walk out of my room and Heather's showing me, the sign is laying like this. A fragile sign that fell from up there, that's been up there 3 years with no issues, that's all. Rolled down these stairs and landed there. That's not a coincidence. And that's what it looked like before it fell. So Caitlin comes home from work one day and she tells me, Dad, your radio was on. I said, what radio? I don't have a radio. She goes, your radio by your bed is on. I said, what? She goes, yeah, I came home and your radio was on. I haven't turned my clock radio on in the 6 years I've been here. I use my phone for my alarm clock. I've never touched my radio. So Caitlin comes, walk in our room, and she hears the static. She walks over to my bed and hears the radio going on just like that. So a couple of days later goes by and I go to work, or I can't remember where I was, and I come home from work, I guess, and I come into my bathroom and I notice this towel on the floor like this. Now, my towels hang here. I have no idea. I asked Caitlin, I said, you come in the bathroom and use my bathroom? No. When I left that morning, I know this towel wasn't on the floor. And I wasn't expecting Pam to come pick it up because she wasn't here. She put it there, but, so that was another thing. So a day or two later, Kayla and I go out to dinner, and we come home from dinner and we walk into the house and we hear the radio going on again. Exactly doing this. The same thing when Caitlin came home. I haven't touched it. The last time I touched it was to shut it off. I pushed the off button. I know that that's not a freak accident. What else can explain that stuff? So the one sign that I've been wanting to see or know is a red cardinal. I was hoping to see a red cardinal maybe land on my chair by my office or on the railing on the back porch, being, somewhat close to me to say, wow, that could be Pam's spirit there. But if you don't understand what the red cardinal thing is, let me just read this. Many people believe seeing a red cardinal in us is a sign that those who have passed are still with us in spirit. We believe that the red bird is carrying a message from a deceased loved one. This bird is a go-between the heavens and earth. So you can understand why I've been wanting to see a cardinal. Well, that Saturday, I was working here with my guys, and we were planting these bushes. And I was sitting here, and my guy Hector goes, Michael, and he points to the ground. I said, what? And he goes, and he picks up the bird, and he goes, the bird hit the wall and landed right by your feet. I said, really? And he puts it in my hand. And what you're looking at is a female red cardinal. This sat in my hand for about 10 minutes. I thought it was dead. It wasn't dead. It just sat there and blinked its eyes and looked at me. When I took that cardinal and we walked and I put it on my fence post, for about 20 minutes or so, it still was there, and then it flew off. That's why my belief in God is so strong. That is not a coincidence. That's Pam's spirit.